or another.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, when it comes to Big Ten expansion, Tony Petitti had this to say today. All the direction I'm getting from leadership, our presidents and chancellors and our athletic directors, is to focus on USC and UCLA. We have a lot of work to do there. I'm proud of the scheduling format we created in football. I think it touches on all the right things. But we have significant work to do in scheduling for our other sports, especially our Olympic sports, to come up with the best solutions. We have a good plan in motion. I think we'll learn from it. Like anything, there'll be tweaks and changes. But overall, that's really where we are. I'm not getting direction to do anything else other than that in terms of what the conference looks like right now. And the Olympic sports are not going to make them money, but they're going to cost them money. And I do think that they need, it is probably wise for them to go through a couple years of finding out how you make this work with everything else you're going to have to do to see if it's worthwhile to add anything else into that big, mix of cross-country flights that you're going to have now. In some sports that wouldn't normally fly for some of these conference games. If you're UCLA softball and you have to play a game against San Diego State at their place, then you didn't have to fly to that. You just got on the bus and you went down there. Well, now you don't, even if that's a non-conference game, you might still do that, but now you wouldn't have to necessarily fly a lot of other places if you're budgeting and all that. But now you have to worry about, okay, how do we get to Lincoln and how do we get to Piscataway and how do we get to Madison all throughout the year? So I think they've got to figure those things out.
I think that they've been very clear for a good year now that they're not expanding. I think that they've said that multiple times from multiple people. And that's the part of the overall expansion story that continues to come around and create all these other little side plots is what about Oregon and Washington? And that's been out there as a talking, point or as a conversation for, ever since the Oklahoma-Texas story, really. And certainly the year after with USC and UCLA. And I'm with you, Paul. There is no rush. They don't have to hurry to the table and beckon these other Pac-12 schools or run over to the East and go grab those ACC schools. It's fun to think about. It's fantasy booking. I have, a lot of fun, with things like that of booking these ideas and what could happen, whether it be college football or the NFL or pro wrestling or whatever. I understand the enjoyment in that, but I've just seen nothing of substance whatsoever in the last year, probably longer, that gives me or anyone else really any indication that that's in the works. So I think they've said now multiple times, we are onboarding these two, and we're going to see how that works out, and I trust that that's what they're going to do because you know what? That makes the most sense. There is no reason to hurry and add more. You are in a fine spot. You're starting a brand new TV deal. You've got two schools that are going to be your experiment on how the travel and how all these other things with, gymnastics and Olympic sports, how all those things work, the midweek trips for the non-football sports. How does basketball work? How does baseball work? How do all these things come together? What are we talking about? Why are they going to go blow that up right now while they're right in the midst of starting it all up? Just for the sake of adding teams, they can add whenever they want to, basically. I mean, they can go add them whenever they want. So I understand there's exit fees, but we're talking about one of the two richest conferences, so those don't really bother me. And what exit fee is there until there's a contract signed? So, there's not even an exit fee to pay right now. So, yeah, I get why that's fun to think about, but there's nothing actual of substance, it seems, to that. And, I'd gladly be proven wrong by some expansion bomb tomorrow of the Ducks and, they're moving. I would love to be wrong about something like that, but I just don't see any reason to believe that that's in the cards in the near future. So that remains status quo, and the Big Ten is fine where they are. I am curious of what their long-term plans are, but I don't think that's something we'll know for quite a while because, again, they're dealing with this latest bombshell. Can they enjoy the LA schools first before they start pivoting to conquering the rest of the country?
We haven't seen USC and Ohio State play once yet. We haven't seen that one time. And everybody was already I would like more of that.
Yeah. I want Oregon Rutgers. I want to see Washington and Ohio State. Let's try out the LA schools first and see how those work.
Let's do, let's sample before we order the whole buffet.